What's up, y'all?
What did you make of the running game on Sunday?
Yeah, I thought it was a step in the right direction, especially as kind of the game got going. Just getting in that momentum of seeing 3, 4, 5, 6 yard runs, take off, keeping us on track, So, again, I thought it was a step in the right direction. It started out there in the practice field about 2 weeks ago. Thought we started getting going in the run game for San Francisco. Took a step last week, and we'll see if we can continue.
Kyron talked about how he felt like, with the way the blocking was, he could have maybe picked up some more yards on some of those runs. Like, what do you feel like he needs to do to keep that?
Well, that's why Kyron's Kyron, and that's that whole room. It's not just Kyron starts with Ron, as the position coach there, but all those guys feel that way. They're very critical of themselves in terms of what it's blocked for. We got to get more, and so we don't need a coach Kyron on that, because he sees it, he looks at himself, critically, and he'll go do that. He'll go fix what he needs to get fixed, and got so much confidence in him and that entire room.
Is there anything that stood out to you about the way he played?
Yeah, it's just, again, I've said this before, but it's just not too big for him, So he's played in big games. He's getting more, acclimated with the NFL and the speed of it, and just playing on Sundays. But he's put in a good day yesterday. We're putting a little bit more on his plate every single week in terms of the run game, the pass game, formationally, and he's handling it well. He's a pro. He's going to be in this league for a long time.
You guys are getting to the red zone, second best rate in the NFL, but scoring touchdowns, 28th rate. What are the issues that you're seeing come up, and what's the emphasis this week in practice? I know you guys don't get the official install till later in the week, but
Sure.
In terms of the planning and then the strategy.
Yeah, no, it's when you get down there, your execution, everything just has to be tighter, and it starts with all of us, coaches, players, everyone. We're all in this thing together. So there's no panic from it. It's been a small sample size. Of course, in this league, when you kick field goals like we have, you get the results that we got on Sunday. So we got to find ways. We know, as a unit, we got to be better down there, and we will be, and we'll continue to work on it.
As tight and close as you are to your brother, is it different this week?
I mean, sure. I guess we say a little less to each other on Monday and Tuesday in terms of schematics and all that stuff, but still talked to him yesterday. But again, it's my focus. I think Shula's probably thinking about Matt more than I am, and I'm thinking more about having to go against that personnel that they got that's really talented and athlete, and the scheme that they're doing. Across the board, coaches, players are doing a great job over there on defense.
When the schedule comes out in the summer, do you get a jab at each other or any of that?
Not really. I mean, this is kind of getting old hat now. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like we play every year right now. So, again, it's a great opportunity to play an awesome team, and I think both teams probably feel that way. So the only thing I look forward to outside of the challenge that we have on Sunday is getting to see my nephew that gets to come in town. That's about it,
Robert Sala had mentioned himself being familiar with athletes. Matt had been familiar with athletes. Roundabout way of me asking, how far back do you go with him of your knowledge of his system and what he runs?
Yeah, I coached with him in 2014, my first year in the NFL with the Browns. So he was the DB coach there, and was I was just little QC in my first year, and he was a really good friend, but extremely respectful of everyone there, and turned into one of my better buddies in ball or life. So had 2 years with him in San Francisco as well, and then he went off to Ohio State and did his thing, and obviously became a head coach there. So really happy he's where he wants to be right now. I think they're doing a great job. I'm really happy that my brother has him outside of this week, because it's a challenge schematically on top of what they have personnel-wise.
Yeah, what do they do that's differently? It looks like some of their coverage structures, their attacking, passing concepts a little bit differently than maybe Joe Barry had before.
Yeah, it's a totally different scheme than what Joe B and they were doing. So it's more, if you want to call it in the Niners Jets realm, but there's obviously the differences. Not getting into all of them, but they got different coaches and stuff like that. But it's more probably in that realm of defensive philosophy than it is what they were doing in the past.
What are, I know it's kind of getting old hat for you and you're just competing
Sure.
against backwards, but what's it like for your extended family these weeks when you guys are competing against each other?
I don't think my mom likes it, but again, I said that last year too, and I probably said that the year before that. So again, we're playing all the time. I think everyone's just kind of getting used to it. I don't think anyone really enjoys it that much. But again, we got a job to do. you know, and obviously we know what we want is the result. We're working for that result. I know they're doing the exact same thing, and the cool part about it is it's you know, going to be a good game on a Sunday, and shoot, that's what it should be.
But like, so Matthew Stafford throws a long touchdown pass to Atwell, right? I'm sure your mom's way to go, Mike. But then on the other side, is it like a spike to the heart?
My mom likes me more, so she's cheering for me.
Mike, can you take us through the play, the Colby Parkinson stepping out of bounds, that was almost an interception? But,
Sure.
ended up being
Negated,
called back?
yeah.
What you saw the sequencing happen, what happened on that play, and then with Colby, kind of what's the conversation like?
Yeah, just, you know, just fine-tuning some things right there. You know, I want to give him an opportunity on somewhat of a double move right there, and you know, kind of got forced outside. It was good coverage by that guy. I mean, Brisker's a heck of a football player. Did a great job of, you know, not only doing that, but, you know, getting himself in position to make a play on Matthew. So I mean, there was a lot to correct there. Again, execution for I'll always say it starts with us as coaches. You know, we didn't get it communicated well enough of what we were looking for, the intent there. Got it corrected there on the sideline. Obviously, it was a play too late, but making sure that won't happen again.
How is he doing in your mind? Are you consistently getting what you guys expected from him?
Yeah, this dude's a pro too. I mean, and he's a great dude. He attacks out there in practice, you know, like an absolute professional. He's continuing to get more and more comfortable with our system, both in the run game and the pass game. We're lucky to have him, and his best days as a Ram are still ahead of him. You know, so you know, again, he's a Ram for sure. Guys, good. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
You've seen Jared through these first 4 games. How have you seen him grow from the beginning of the season?
Yeah, he's done an excellent job. He plays hard. You know, he's done a better job with his assignments as he goes. I think he's continued as an understanding of the NFL game. Obviously, there's some different things that we've asked him to do as far as standing up, as far as from what he did at Florida State. And you can continue to see him getting more and more comfortable as he's done each and every week, and continues to play hard, and really happy to have him.
Can you expand on that when you say the NFL game compared to Florida State? What are you teaching?
Yeah, so like in college, Kurt, in what he did at Florida State in the ACC is there's a lot of, what you see is just a lot of spread out. So we call it just clean edges. You're just standing there playing over a tackle, and there's not really anybody next to you. You're not necessarily sitting over a tight end with the quarterback under center. He had that a lot in college, where you can really only get, when that happens, really the tackle, if it's a run, can really only go down, right? And maybe someone could pull at you, or you could come out at you, right? There's kind of 2 types of blocks you can get. Whereas in the NFL, there's a lot of different ways that, you know, Sean and a bunch of these guys like to affect the edges. And so it's a lot of that's to slow these guys down, these elite players, because they're so good and they're so talented that if you just give them a clean edge, it's going to be tough.
And when you're scheming against Matt, a guy that you personally know, does it feel like you're looking in the mirror? Is it hard not to overthink, or is it just following principles?
You know, we're used to it now. You know, it was the same last week. Obviously, Shane Waldron is a good friend, and Matt's the same way. And you know, and Matt hasn't been here, and you know, it's been since 2017, and obviously great friend and really close with obviously Mike and everything. And but it's not something, you know, I like to overthink. You know, you really go into it trying to stop them like any other offense.
Is there anything that you guys can do other than just beat the odds in terms of creating more interceptions? Or is that just
Yeah.
like that?
Hey, that's the age-old question, Gary. If there was something, if I knew it, I would do it right now. You know? But you know, that's something you harp on. We know that's one of the most important things, as everybody knows. Other than points, that's the biggest stat when it comes to winning and losing. And you know, I think it comes with playing good defense, and comes with playing good defense. You create yourself more opportunities. You get them in more vulnerable situations. You create more 3rd and longs. You can make them throw it, things like that. A lot more takeaways happen on pass plays.
Mm-hmm.
So when teams are on schedule running the ball every snap, it's a lot harder to take the ball away. So that's really kind of the main things.
But it doesn't seem, at least that I can recall, that it's not like you had a lot of missed opportunities with balls in the air or balls that could have been
There's been a few on the ground, but yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, off the top of my head, I do agree with you. It's not like there's been a lot. I wouldn't say there's been a ton of dropped interceptions or anything like that. Any missed opportunities. And I think that goes back to what we just said, where you got to force these guys to throw the ball and put them in those situations, and then you have a lot better chance to take the ball away.
Mm-hmm.
You see Christian Rose move on DJ Moore in the red zone. What gives you confidence in that matchup?
Yeah, that was just a not a good plan on my part. They lined up in empty, and yeah, that wasn't the adjustment we were looking to get to.
And then looking at Tre'Davious White, his confidence has been pretty much unshaken, although he's given up a few big plays. What do you attribute that to?
It just goes to the elite competitor that he is. He's been doing it for a long time since his rookie year. I think it was 2017. And it just shows the type of guy that he is. And he's had a couple unfortunate situations where whether it's been his fault or not, he's been the primary on some of these touchdowns and obviously some of the penalties. And we just look forward to continue coaching him, continue to work with him, and trying to put him in good positions.
Chris,
A couple more.
I'm paraphrasing slightly, but Sean mentioned earlier this week that expressing some disappointment with how they've played on offense so far. Obviously, a lot of moving personnel very early in the season, and he said it's affecting the way that you guys can play defense. I'm kind of wondering if you can explain what that means in your mind as you're working with him to build a complete team.
Yeah, I mean, I think what he means is he's just talking about, or whether the offense. I think from his standpoint, always wants to control the game, continue to get first downs, control the clock, score points, right, and then you get in positions where maybe you can run. But I think we definitely have our hand in that too, where the offense can't get ahead if they're not scoring. So it kind of goes hand in hand with everybody, and every time we want to go out there, every single drive, we want to go out and play good defense and get those guys the ball back as fast as possible, whether it's a 3 and out or that's a takeaway, like Gary said.
And then one last question on Jared. A couple of teammates, and then obviously when you watch it too, it seems like as the game goes on, he almost can build power, and he just doesn't seem to wear out at all. When did you first notice that? It's not something that maybe would stand out right away in training camp when you can't have full contact. And how do you maximize that, understanding you might be able to turn that on in key moments?
Yeah, and we like to keep all those guys fresh, but we noticed that in college. He's got a motor, and that's one of the things we loved about him. And he's got a motor, he's got an attitude, and when you play like that all the time, whether you talk about training camp, whether you talk about OTAs, we talk about effort is a skill, and you create muscle memory, and when you're able to do that, that's just how you play the game all the time. And because of that, he's able to get stronger throughout the game. I think that's part of getting more comfortable and all that type of stuff.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you.